Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool haul video is going to be several smaller products, and you might not consider some of them tools, but to me, if they help me get my job done, I'm going to consider that a tool. And all these things that I'm sharing with you today, in my opinion, don't make a good video in and of themselves, so that's why I've kind of been holding these back. Wait until I have 4 or 5 of them, and then I'm going to share them all in this one video. So some of these might be useful to you, some of them might not be. I'll have chapters down below to kind of break up each and every one. But some of these have been real help to me, and maybe they might be to you. So I'm just going to share them all with you today. You can make the decision if it would work in your work life, if it would be useful to you in some way. That's the goal behind this, but let's go ahead and get into these. The first item that we're going to look at is the Swason Trim Speed Square. It's a little 4.5 inch square. Now maybe you all already have the Milwaukee little trim square, and really for the most part it's almost identical. It's just a different color. And I remember whenever I first saw this, I don't know if it's one of the first little mini trim squares. I know it was one of the first in a box store. I picked this up. I actually love this thing because it's just the right size, fits in my hand nice. 9 times out of 10 I'm dealing with 2x4 framing, 1x4s, baseboard, whatever it is. This size speed square works a lot for me, to where I don't need that extra 7 1/4 size to go up to that. And why did I buy this if I already have the Milwaukee one? Well, that's because during my K-Pro Legit review, I mentioned using a square like this, that I like to use one of these for layout. Now at my age with my eyesight, because I can just take something like this and I can take and mark both sides of a stud. Now it doesn't work with this one, as I mentioned in that video, but that gives me both my lines. I don't have to look for certain things. My Empire one is 1.5 inches. That's the one I've been using. But I don't like how that teeters. I prefer to use a speed square if possible, but it's just harder for me to do because I can mark it out. I can make my mark here, and then I can go by the little diamond right here. I can move that diamond over to my mark, make another mark, and then that gives me my 1.5 inches as well. So again, it's just more of an eyesight problem for me. That's why this one here makes the difference, because to me it also has that same thing. So I can use this just like the Milwaukee, just like I just did, but it also has this point right here, and that is 1.5 inches. You see how this lines up with your mark up here from here to here. So I can now make my first mark. I can also make a mark right there on that, and that gives me my 1.5 inches. So I can either use that as a line and this as a line and just say that that's good. I've at least got 2 points now that I know my stud needs to go right in the middle of that. Or I could make both those marks and then just slide this over to that mark, the smaller mark, and make a full mark. I don't have to look for that diamond or the triangle. Depends on how it's marked on your square. Much easier to find. So again, if you're not doing layout with one of these, you don't deal with 1.5 inches very much. That's really the only extra feature on this one that kind of is better than that of the Milwaukee. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. So if you're not going to use it for that, you've already got one of these. There's no sense in you buying this. Now this one, I had to pick it up at Lowe's. It's going to run you about $13 by itself. But on Amazon, they have this along with the 6-inch combination square, I think for $16. So for $3 more, you can get you a little combination square. I think that might be the better deal, but it just depends on if you'd use one of those or not. So again, just sharing it with you in case it might be useful to you. I like it. I appreciate you, Brian, for bringing it up to me. I went and picked it up actually, I think the very next day after you told me about it, and I've been using it for my layout ever since. It's been working out great for me. So that's the first one. Let's get on to the next one. So the next tool that I picked up and I've had for a little while are some woodworking rulers, and these are by Violet Fox. There's several different versions of these on Amazon when you go looking for them. These are going to run you about $27. And the only reason why I picked these over the other ones is because 731 Woodworks, he had a video comparing these to the woodpecker version. And I can't remember what the woodpecker version's name is. I think it's like the Paoni ruler set. But it's going to cost you $135 if you buy theirs. Now, Woodpeckers makes great tools. I've got their saddle T-square here. This stays in my garage. I use that for certain things whenever I'm building, like, furniture type stuff and things like that. But I planned on using these on a job site. So I didn't really want to, spend a big bunch of money for something that I may just throw around a job site, because to me these are rulers, and you get a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 12-inch. You can take these off and just use it as a straight edge for a ruler, whatever it might be. And then you can also take and put these on. They slide on and off for you to set different adjustments. So maybe I want to scribe a line on a board. I can adjust this to whatever it is that I want to scribe, whether it's 1.5 inches, whatever it is. Run that along the board along with my pencil if I want to. I've a lot of times use these for checking the depth of maybe I need to extend a door jamb or extend a window jamb or something like that. I can take and loosen this, push this ruler against my existing jamb, put this on the edge of the drywall or whatever the wall is, and then lock it down, and then I can get my measurement of whatever it is that I need to make to extend that. So again, it's just a cheap option, much cheaper than that of the woodpecker's version. As far as accuracy wise, it has, you know, millimeters, inches, all those things. It's double-sided. One side is inches, and then it also has, you know, inches on the end too for you to be able to check depths this way. So they're very useful, even if you just need a set of rulers. I think it's a good price for what they are, and the accuracy on them. As far as everything that I've stuck them up against, if I take a tape measure and I line it up with it, it pretty much has always been right on my 1 inch, my 2 inch. All the lines have lined up exactly right, no matter what tape measure I've checked it against. If I've checked it against another ruler, whatever it is, I think that they're fairly accurate. Maybe I got lucky and got a good set, but I think for $27 and for what I'm going to use them for, these are going to get thrown in my pack out drawer along with all my other job site measuring type tools, and they're going to be useful to me. I've already used them several times, but maybe you've been looking at them, maybe you've been looking at the woodpeckers and you just don't want to pay the price. I think that this is a good set, a good compromise. I mean, it's a ruler. I can't imagine that you need any more fine precision than what these are going to give you anyways to spend that extra money, but maybe you just feel more comfortable buying the best tool for the most amount of money if you're doing some kind of work where, I mean, even the minute amount of precision matters, then you might want to check into that, but that's not what I'm going to use these for. I think for the price, it's a good bang for the buck. So the next two products are going to deal with cleanliness, and this one is the Muddy Buddies. These are basically shoe covers, but they're not disposable. They're made out of a neoprene material, so maybe you've had some seat covers for your trucks or vans or whatever it is. A lot of times to me, this feels like the same type of material that your seat covers are made out of, kind of like a, you know, wetsuit type material. And these are going to run you about $25. So I'm not a big fan of the disposable ones. I don't like the way they feel on my feet. They feel slippery. And I don't use them enough that I don't really like to keep up with, oh, do I have enough of those? And all that kind of things like that. And buy a whole big box that would probably last me a whole lifetime. But every now and then I run into, I've got to work at a condenser unit or crawl into a crawl space where a plumbing leak has happened. I got to go outside and back in someone's house. These are nice because I could just slip them right over my shoes. As you can see here, it just takes a matter of seconds. And, you know, I'm right there at the door. Maybe the customer's there. And it always looks good to the customer if you take the time to put on a disposable one or put on something like this, because it shows that you care about their house. And it's always a good impression to leave. And again, I wear a size 11 shoe, and these fit me perfectly. You know, I don't even have to do any kind of adjustment on them. They just slide right over. I wear them just like they come to you. Now, maybe if you've got a little bit bigger foot, you're probably going to be in the same shape as me, not have to do any adjustment. If you've got a smaller foot, they have some strings here that you basically pull, and it tightens up. It goes all the way around the shoe here and makes that tighten up around you. Now, I don't have any idea how well they fit in that case because I don't have to do that. So maybe somebody down below can comment if you've got smaller feet and you've got these. Let us know how well they fit. But the good thing to me about these are they're washable. So the few times that I need to wear some, I can just throw these on, hand wash them, and I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about keeping up with a whole box of disposable ones that I don't like wearing anyways because they're slippery. But I like these so far. Again, I've only worn them a couple times. They seem to work well. But you guys let me know in the comments below if there's some other product out there that you guys use, especially on something like this. I think that's helpful for everybody. I was actually looking for, I think they were called tracks or something like that. That's how I came across these. And again, these are hard to find because you search Muddy Buddies, you're going to get some Chex Mix treats, all sorts of things. Even if you search Muddy Buddies shoe, these weren't coming up. I just so happened to find them because I was looking at something else. But again, I'll put links in the description for these. Again, $25. It's nice to have them. They also come with a carabiner that you can put through right here and put them on your belt loop or on your tool bag or whatever else, if that's how you want to carry them. It does come with that, but I find them to be useful. Just thought I'd share them with you in case you didn't know they were out there. Maybe you hate the plastic disposable ones as well. This might be the option that you've been looking for. And the next cleaning product are these Crocodile Wipes. I found these in Home Depot at first. That's where I bought this first bag that I'm still using. It's got 100 wipes in there. These wipes are 15 by 10, and I've only used the original, but they have versions for auto, outdoor, grill, paint, all sorts of different things, power scrub, bunch of different options for these. These will run you 20 bucks for this package right here on Amazon and at Home Depot, so whichever place you prefer to get it. But they work extremely well. They're guaranteed to be never dry. I have had this one right here I've had for, I don't know, probably 6, 7, maybe even more than that, months. And this package is still, every single one of them that I have pulled out has been wet. They work great. It's a good size. I use these to clean off my pants, my hands, all those things. And I've actually started using them to wipe down even my tools. You know that I'm a big clean person as far as my tools, so I will normally now use these to wipe off the bulk of my, grit and things like that, and then I'll go behind that with some Houdini and kind of shine everything back up and get everything lubed up that might be metal and all those things. So these work crazy well, and this is just the original. I don't know how much the power scrubber does, but I've used them on walls, and again, it's just a nice size. It's a real thick material. You can, tear it eventually, but it's almost like a rag in a way. So I don't know if you guys have tried them or not. I picked them up at Home Depot to try them, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they're the best wipes that I've ever used. So I'm just suggesting you might want to give it a shot. You might want to try it. I know a lot of people like the tub of towels, but these have been better than those to me, but that's just me, maybe not for you. But again, just letting you know my thoughts on them. Maybe you want to check them out. It's just a good option to keep in your truck. And again, I've had this one package right here, which I was getting low on, so I ordered some more in my truck for so many months, and I mean they're just as wet right now as what they are if I opened up that package and got them out of there. So it's an option for you. Let us know in the comments below again if you use something else, how well it works for you. Next up, I bought some WERA. It's the ACR Phillips No. 2 bits. I had mentioned wanting a laser tip bit for an impact or something like that because the WERA laser tips on their screwdrivers, by far my favorite tip. The Phillips are phenomenal, but the slotted ones are even better when dealing with slotted screws. And you can see those little laser tip lines on there. Everybody's pretty familiar with that. But I had mentioned back whenever I was talking about that I wish that they had a bit that you could just put into a bit holder that you could just put in any screwdriver you wanted to, or in your impact or drill. And that's kind of what these ACR bits are. I don't know if I can get those lines to show up there, but they've got little grooves in that Phillips bit to help with gripping the screw. So I bought these hoping that was kind of going to be a laser tip. It's not a laser tip, but it's kind of in the same vein as the thought process is the same, as those little ridges should grab a hold of that screw, but they're not really at the same angle or anything as a laser tip. And right here I've got a regular Phillips 2, just a DeWalt impact bit. Here's a drywall screw. Goes in fine. I have actually started using these just to kind of see if it would be any difference, and I'm gonna be honest with you, is it a good bit? Yes. For $15 you get 10, so that makes them roughly $1.50 a piece. I don't think it's a bad price for them, but are they drastically better? It's not the same to me as using a laser tip in the screwdriver. Drastically better compared to a regular Phillips bit in a screwdriver. And maybe it's just because it doesn't translate as well going into an impact or a drill, but I don't feel like it's necessarily worth the extra expense as far as if you're wanting to get it for better grip. I don't know that it is worth that, but is it a good bit? Does it fit the Phillips screws well and all those kinds of things? Yes. So $1.50 for the bit. If that's around what you're paying anyways, you might want to give these a try, but just don't expect them to be, to me, the same as the laser tips on the screwdrivers. Again, it might be the fact that you're using this by hand and you can feel it more than you doing an impact or something like that. But it's just something I bought, decided to give it a try. Are they nice bits? Yes. Are they worth way more than maybe a regular bit? I don't personally think so, but you guys let me know below if you've got these, what you think about them, if you've been using them as well, and what applications you've been using them for. And the last tool that we're going to look at today is a tool by Hyde, and it is a painter's tool. It's a 5-in-1, and it's foldable. I mentioned before that I really like the foldable one, and I found this one, but it wasn't available really anywhere except for on eBay, and it was really expensive. And then it finally was available on Amazon, but it was like for $25 or something like that, and I didn't want to spend that money on it either. And I ended up getting this. Now it's on sale for $15. Now normally I carry this Purdy option in my bag, and it's a foldable one as well. Really like this one. It's a painter's tool. It's got different features on it. This one does have a strike plate here, and I have used that. I haven't like weld on it or anything like that because I really just don't know that I trust it with this all being plastic. But you know, you can use it. I don't know if you just can weld on it like you would maybe some other one that has a solid handle. Maybe you guys, I know several of you have bought this. Have you used it and really went to town on the handle, hammering on it? Let us know how that's worked out for you. So here's a foldable painter's tool. So why would I even want this one? Well, this one is a foldable painter's tool as well. Very similar to that of the Purdy. The Purdy's a little bit wider, I think. But this one has a bottle opener here or a can opener. And that's where the Hyde has that back here on this back side. You can use that to open paint cans or things like that. So again, why would I want this one over this one whenever this one has a hammer strike? Has all those same features. Well, that's because this one's not just a painter's tool, but it is also a putty knife as well. And it's an 1.5 inch putty knife. So you get two different things in here. They call this one a 5-in-1. And it is I would call it a semi-flexible / semi-stiff. It's not really crazy flexible, but it's also not real stiff. It's actually kind of like how I like mine. And maybe you're someone who putties screw holes, nail holes, if you're a maintenance tech or something like that, and you're all the time going in somewhere, or you just need to, you know, get the label off of something, a new appliance or whatever it is, you could use something like this. So it's just another option. I really like this one, but now I've got a painter's tool and a putty knife all in the same foldable little tool. They just work by you pressing in on these, and then that lets you fold this side in. You press in on here, that lets you fold that side in. So don't have to worry about those poking a hole in your tool bag. That now will slide into your tool bag, and now I've got a putty knife and a painter's tool, scraper, all those things, a can opener, all within this one little tool here. So for 15 bucks, I felt like it's a good price. Again, it mostly depends on how often you need to hit one with a hammer, whether you would want to go with the Purdy versus the Hyde, or how often you need to use a putty knife. So that's kind of the options that you have with that. But again, I didn't really know that this was out there. I've been searching for it for a while. It looked like it was maybe available just on weird stores, but now it is available on Amazon. And for 15 bucks, I think it's a pretty good price. So yeah, guys, several different products today. All of them very affordable. They don't cost a lot of money, but they could make a big difference in your just day-to-day work life. Just depends on, again, what it is you do, how you use certain things. But let us know in the comments below if you have any of these and you've been using them, what's your experience with them. Also, maybe you've got another product. Maybe you've got some different shoe protection that you like to use that works out great for you. Let us know that down below. Every kind of suggestion that people make, I like to look at those. I like to go look at those products, but it's also helpful to anybody else that reads the comments that they're thinking they might want to buy a pair of these, but then they read a comment, they go check out whatever it is that you have suggested. Maybe that's the better fit for them. I'm not trying to push any of these things on you. I'm just trying to share with you how I'm using them in case it might be helpful to you. That's the goal behind all these videos. So I hope that it was helpful in some way, but you guys stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.